All right, folks, welcome to a matchup between the first place player and third place player in Group B. Capwatch is 9-0 right now. He was one of the big surprises of the players that was relegated at the tail end of Season 2 of Platinum, and he was very upset about it. But that's the type of thing you would expect from someone who's extremely competitive and wants to continue to play this game at a high level. Capwatch able to beat the three quote-unquote weakest players, or they were the three promoted players from Silver to Gold, 3-0. And so he's got 9 wins right now. If he's able to maintain first position, which he'd pretty much do with a 2-1 victory today, then Capoch is not going to have to play in any of the crazy playoffs that will happen next week. And he just goes right back up to Platinum where he will feel he belongs. Capoch is playing as the Franks here. And the map is Spiral. And then we have Mihai playing as the Vietnamese. And it's interesting. We're seeing Vietnamese again on Spiral. I don't know what it is about Spiral. I know it's been played on... This Civ has been played on other maps, like maybe Hideout or something too. But maybe one Golden Pit game in memory. But we've seen like 3 or 4 times players picking Vietnamese here on this map. So we'll see how things go. Like maybe it has something to do with the way the map spawns. Like this is interesting. Mihai is trying to steal the cow and steal the sheep. Oh, man, I cannot tell you how brutal it would be for either player to lose their scout. Is anyone going to back away here? Are they going to chance it? Oh, Capwatch could be screwed. Capwatch is so screwed. Oh, my God. That's huge for Mihai. If anything, I think you would want to back away if you're Capwatch. But, oh, goodness, he's now using his villagers to bring in things here in Dark Age. I didn't realize it was even that bad underneath his TC. Capwatch not happy about it, but he doesn't have a whole lot else to do because he doesn't have a scout. And he says, that's so random, lol. And then Mihai says, welcome to AoE. So, yeah, I mean, in those situations, both players were attacking at exactly the same time from the same starting point, right? The same amount of HP. They do the same amount of damage. And only one player wins those 50-50 battles. And I felt like in that moment, it was not worth the risk for Capwatch. That was a coin flip right there. And he lost the coin flip. And the reason I say it wasn't worth it for him was because he wouldn't have had as much scouting of his opponent's base. But I guess, like, for Mihai, it wouldn't have been too great for him either. So, Mihai, 5 wins coming into this. He would love to be able to get more wins on the board, and it is possible for him to pass Vinchester. Right now, Vinchester's at 6 wins in second place. And, you know how things can snowball on you guys sometimes in Age of Empires, right? You get a little bit frustrated. You lose the first game. You start the next game. Maybe something goes poorly for you. And all of a sudden, you're staring down the face of a 3-0. Which would really shake up the hunt for first in this group. But yep, so far, so good for Mihai. It's been the perfect start. He knows exactly where his opponent's TC is because of Vietnamese. And fishing ships coming out here for Mihai. Fishing ships coming out here for Capwatch as well. Yeah, I think Spiral ends up being first in a lot of these sets because it's not a map that is too extreme one way or another. It's not too extreme in water pressure. It's not too extremes with all-ins. It's fairly open. The potential of the walls to... Like, there's nothing to really be scared of if you're a high-level player playing on Spiral. And the way the first game is decided in these drafts is based on what maps the players ban and what's remaining. So the draft goes... For those that don't really follow this, the draft is, out of our 11 maps, it's ban for one player, ban for the next. Pick for one player, pick for the next. And then it's ban, however many bans it is until there's just one map remaining. So it always makes sense that game one's going to kind of be like a map that everyone's usually pretty fond of. And thus no extremes. So very rarely are you going to see that be a closed map or like a heavy water map because some players aren't a fan of those strats. Civ draft a little bit different, obviously. So yeah, Capoch lost the scout, and he's just been in the dark this whole time. Losing your scout is one of the worst things that can happen to you. The positive thing for him is his opponent his scout is weak. So this scout has no value in attacking villagers. Will probably be a scout build-up for Mihai here. And he now knows his opponent as docked. This is going to annoy Capwatch, I'm sure. The 3 HP scout can't attack fishing ships. Yeah, I agree. Spiral has been really good. I wonder if Capwatch is going to take less risk because all of this is in the dark for him. Like, I felt like Franks would maybe try and make a rush to the berries because it's so important for Franks. But now that he doesn't have vision, like right now he sees Mihai spotted him. Like, that would freak me out. But I think he's probably just going to make a couple spearmen here in defense. He's hoping his opponent's going scouts. Honestly, could have been a pretty decent invitation for Mihai to go spearman and archer. But it is quite a long distance to travel, and there's nothing inherently wrong with going scouts with Vietnamese. He's just going to wall up while he has the time and play safe. So very low risk for Mihai, who was in the playoffs in Gold Season 2. He lost to Daniel. Unfortunately for him, I think he lost 3-0 to Daniel, who moved his way up to Platinum. But Mihai's a really good player. He's like, I think 20 years old, 21 years old, from Romania. And he's really been putting a lot of work in to compete. And trying to get as far as he can, you know? Hasn't really had a big breakout tournament performance, but is definitely in the top 30 right now. And TTL is one of those things, right? He could earn his way all the way up to Plat. And then get more and more experience and more games in against the big boys. But a win against Capwatch here, 2 wins against Capwatch here. He's most certainly going to the playoffs, but still could technically get to the first place spot. And if you get to the second place spot in the group, as Capwatch sees now that Mihai's going scouts, second place spot in the group means that you are then playing up against the third place player from Group A. So it's a weaker opponent, right? So Capwatch now starting to wall. Also pulling this villager away from the dock. A lot of players have forgotten about that, and you could tell Mihai was looking for it. And Capwatch, very lucky, dude. Like, very lucky. And you'll have to just give him credit for the timings, but still, I mean, could have easily seen that villager go down. He just got the timing just right. So he closes up his main base. He has 3 spearmen protecting the deer and then the berry area. The guys who have been watching this tournament this week, what has been the thing that has been the death of Franks? I'll wait for my chat to answer here. There's been one unit. We've seen it from 2 or 3 different civilizations. And sometimes on different maps. I think it was Lance Madness. We've seen it more than anything. But, yep. Cav archers. Because Franks very rarely play in towards skirmishers. Because their skirmishers are very weak. And they're typically going knights. If it's just foot archers, then you might not have as much of an issue. Because you can catch up to those foot archers. But the cav archers for Vietnamese are very strong. It's an underrated play, but I think players are realizing more and more how good it is. And so I'm expecting Mihai to go cav archers in the next stage. There's nothing I'm seeing right now that tells me otherwise. Again, the archers get more HP for the Vietnamese, and that applies to the cav archers. Interesting how Mihai's keeping his fire galley inside of his dock. Just 1 kill for Mihai in this game, and it was on the scout at the start. Capwatch has an opportunity to turn around and kill that scout, but I don't think he realizes that's the weak one. Mihai had a little bit of extra wood floating, so he just sells some, buys some food, and clicks up. And in no rush for the blacksmith either. So, okay, both players about to run out of their fish. A small surprise is that we saw the 4th fishing ship from Mihai, but I don't consider that big of a deal. And will likely be double range for Mihai. And Capwatch is going to go double stable. One of the most important things that you need when going cav archers is you need to have time, right? Cav archers struggle against early castle age pressure from crossbows because that's hitting before you have the time to mass the CA. That's the other thing about knights, is knights take time to break through walls. They can be quick walled out, but it takes time to mass those as well. And so I think Capwatch probably expects it, but I don't think anyone should really be thinking, well, why doesn't he go skirmishers? Because there's so many reasons why not with the Franks. Players want to play towards the strengths of their civilizations. Good job from Capwatch since the start, though. And he has since scouted this golden stone, which could be a TC area. And then this golden stone, which could be a TC area. I even think a TC on the berries makes sense. Capwatch should expect Cav Archers. I think the key against Cav Archers is Knights and Scorpions combined. And honestly, it's prioritizing heavy Knight numbers instead of going for the TCs right away. But if I know Capwatch, he loves to drop town centers. It wouldn't surprise me if he went 3 TCs right away. What's the Cav Archer up for Vietnamese after Bloodlines? Well, they get heavy Cav Archer, and I don't know if they get Parthian tactics, but they get full blacksmith upgrades. But in Castle Age, they have 80 HP on their Cav Archers after Bloodlines. In Castle Age. And you don't need to research anything for that, right? Like Turks, you get extra HP after a unique tech from your castle. Anyways, Monastery going up for Capwatch. Little surprising. I don't know if the Monastery necessarily makes that much sense compared to the Siege Workshop, but it all depends on the timing, of course. And these guys have just, I mean, really been feeling out the map, thinking about the long term. And Capwatch going to see these villagers from Mihai head this way, which is an invitation for Capwatch to come this way. And for Mihai, like, you haven't left your base with the ranges yet, and I think Mihai's regretting this. Capwatch instantly comes forward with the Knights, and he's thinking, okay, he wants a TC over here. And Mihai had not scouted this area yet, so he's now sending villagers this way. I think the planning could have been better here. Actually, I'm going to reword it. It should have been. With these scouts, I think you have to know. But if he knows the map, he should know there's a gold somewhere here, which is what he's looking for. And Monk actually goes down. Well played from Capwatch to kill that Monk. And TC up on the gold. Okay, not bad for Mihai. Capwatch must be thinking he still can come over here. And Capwatch dropping the TC on the berries. Really like that decision. But the Cav Archers have been hidden, right? This is something that Mihai still doesn't want to show Capwatch. It's wild to me. And so, here go the Cav Archers. Capwatch has to know something's coming at some point, and he'll see them now. He could lose a Knight right away, though. He only has the first armor upgrade, and these Cav Archers cannot be stopped by this army, guys. They just cannot. If the micro's there, that is. But the Knights broke through! The Knights broke through. That's the other thing Cav Archers take, is they take a lot of time and focus on the micro. And I don't think Mihai knows. I don't think he has any clue. He's really focused here. Oh, God, Mihai falling apart. Oh, man. So, okay, he's got the skills to quick wall this. He will obviously have Cav Archers that will eventually deal with that. But at the end of the day, Capwatch lost a Monk, maybe a Knight. But Capwatch able to do some eco damage. And he did get through the wood line, too! Oh, this is so rough. Like, the game plan for Mihai was perfect. But honestly, I think he was too fancy with it. He tried to surprise his opponent instead of just dealing with the armies that would have been easy enough to deal with. And that's going to be a tilter mentally. Because you've now taken damage that you know you shouldn't have taken. And as someone who takes a lot of damage that he shouldn't take, as someone who has good strategy but struggles with the execution, I know how frustrating that can be. Not the end of the world, obviously. But what Capwatch has been able to do is Capwatch has been able to have a little bit of time to add some siege here. Bam. Lands a shot. And that Mangonel's actually going to survive. Also, no bloodlines being researched. I know that it's 60 HP without bloodlines, and that's a bit more, but you really got to take advantage of your bonuses here, and I think you have to be up at 80 HP at this point. The tankiness of the CA is what makes them strong. You have less HP than someone who would have researched bloodlines on their Cav Archer attack, and economically, I think it would have been doable for Mihai here. So, Capwatch has been able to find villager kills. He's going to find maybe one more here. Ends up with 6 in total. Certainly, it's been awkward for Mihai to balance his economy. Capwatch up to 30 on food. And he's been heavy on stone here. And he'll know that pretty soon that Cav Archer mass is going to be more awkward. he might need to consider, you know, getting... Actually, gold income is awkward right now for Capoch. He's actually just run out of gold income. Ooh. Well, anyways, he needs a castle somewhere, right? Like, a castle needs to protect him in some position on the map. He's holding to his hill for now. Did he convert that? Okay, Oh, there's no bodkin even! Mihai doesn't even have bodkin arrow, guys! That's even worse than no bloodlines. He's not doing as much damage. He doesn't have as much range. And he clearly doesn't realize. Oh, man, those are some big things to miss. Oh, man. I was going to say, what's going on? Because I noticed the Cav Archer that Capwatch had converted only had fletching. But I knew he converted it when we saw the fight here. I think Capwatch is in a better position now. He's able to take gold. And he's still... Oh, God. It's so funny, actually. He's able to drop another TC on this gold, which is so greedy, and still have enough for a castle because he's Franks. It's almost as if he timed it. Now Mihai is getting bodkin arrow. So the knights show up from Capwatch. Capwatch probably surprised that he hasn't seen any action from Mihai, who, in my opinion, has been way too passive ever since he's left his base. I feel like maybe now he'll move out. But the opportunity for him to do damage, the opportunity for him to control the map is now. Capwatch hasn't really... He's been able to drop this TC because the Cav Archers haven't been exposed. Here, he's been because the Cav Archers haven't been around. Mihai, is he going to come forward for a castle? Oh, boy. He's getting bloodlines. He's got monks to convert knights. He's got 686 stone. Villagers no longer have a job. And when villagers don't have jobs, they get angry. And they want to build castles in front of other people's jobs. They want to take their jobs. They just want to be employed. Monks on either side could go for important conversions. Capwatch noticed that Mihai wasn't paying attention. We'll have knights switching sides. But Capwatch will get more conversions with his monks. Castle's going to go up. It's on its way up anyways, and Capwatch really wants to try and deny this, and I think he might have the numbers to do so. The villagers here are not going to be able to complete this castle. The siege that Capwatch has is enough. And while the potential was there with the Vietnamese, and we knew that the timings would be there, it seems like Capwatch has just blown this game out of the water, man. He's got 100 villagers. He's got his stables producing knights nonstop. This castle's going to turn into more castles. And now you are just going to be chasing down knights anywhere you go. Like, knowing Capwatch, he'll have a couple knights here. Then he'll have a couple knights here. Then he'll have a couple raids here. He's just going to be everywhere. Mihai wasn't able to take advantage of that window where the Cav Archers would be strong. And Franks are so smooth and so easy to play economically. And once the defensive castles get down, it's a problem. Like... Every other time we've seen the Franks get dominated by the Cav Archers, it's before those castles come up. And now, as Capwatch, this is kind of funny. He actually can't make a castle here now because he made the mining camp. But now it feels like with the eco difference, Capwatch is going to be able to spam enough knights to deal with these Cav Archers. You could take relatively quote-unquote bad fights just to take the position, which is what he's doing. Forcing the issue with the knights, dropping a castle there. And that'll protect the gold. That will allow him to mine that gold in the middle. And I don't know what you do now if you're Mihai. I mean, Imp needs to change something for you. He is going to escape to make a TC on that gold. He could get Imp upgrades, and Cav Archer's still the go-to unit here. I think it makes the most sense long-term anyways. I mean, obviously could go Halb as well with the Vietnamese. Look at Capwatch, guys. He's going to check this side. He's going to check this side, and he will be rewarded. He just knows. Gold is so important on the sides on this map. He's raiding both sides. This TC gets completely denied. Capwatch hasn't lost a single villager. He's killed 23, and it was such a brutal start from him. I think we see, like, there's certain players, and Capwatch is probably one of the biggest ones. He doesn't really do anything fancy. Like, there's no flair to Capwatch's game, but it's consistency and it's economy and it's mobility. Like, the guy is so good with booming and making knights. Up to 32 Vil kills now. He too is on the way to the Imperial Age, and I just don't know if the Cav Archer Mass is going to be able to do it now. Capwatch should be, if he can find the stone, he should be in a position to make defensive castles anywhere he's vulnerable. And of course has like all this middle gold, and he has 50 on food right now. So 50 on food, 30 on gold means he can make knights forever. Capwatch was playing a little awkwardly at times in the series against Capwatch, but anytime it got messy and anytime it looked awkward, he was still just more consistent with the town centers and more consistent with the eco. Good example of like eco wins games, right? He doesn't really have those moments in him where he's like, woo, look at the nerdy little archer micro. Doesn't have it. But there's a reason this guy was able to come back to the game. He's like, what, mid-30s, late 30s, guys? Does anyone know how old Capwatch is? But anyways, he came back to Age of Empires 2 a couple years ago. And he's been doing really well ever since. Cav Archer upgrades coming in. Bracer and Chemistry. The TC will complete here for Mihai. And I'm sure based on the score and based on how little map control right now, he knows that Capwatch is just going to pull him apart. It's a bad feeling. If you don't have a big enough Cav Archer mass to really be in your opponent's face with it, then they're just going to avoid your mass and raid the sides of your base. Is Capwatch 33? I don't know. I think his Liquipedia profile would probably say, but you don't look actually at Liquipedia because it will actually say the result of this series because it was played while we were casting the other series. Okay, or somebody already did it. He's 36. Got it. Yeah, Mihai's 20. Mihai wasn't even alive when this game was made. Which, it only slightly disgusts me. Cav Archers for Mihai. Oh my god. Right through 2 castles. He's not going to lose as many as I would have thought. No ballistics or fletching on the castles means that they can pass right through. But Capwatch just hanging out, waiting for Cavalier, waiting for Imp Armor. And, you know, again, how are you really going to move around? Capwatch ready to force some fights. Sees the Cav Archer, says, actually, I'll just back away to one of my many castles, as I will raid this side and drop a castle there with just a few villagers. And Mihai, he doesn't even need Capwatch to finish him off. He just knows. So honestly, I think the approach for Mihai, like the strategy for Mihai was correct. I actually think that how he opened up towards Castle Age was correct, but the execution wasn't there. Not having Bodkin Arrow and not having Bloodlines, I mean, Bodkin Arrow was the biggest one, really affected how the early fights went, and he wasn't able to get the Cav Archer Snowball to work. And then Capwatch just breezed through the game. 4 TCs, 5 TCs with incredible eco. The window was there for Mihai to take, but he wasn't able to get the job done. And Capwatch now 10-0 so far in TTL. 10-0. And we'll go to Mihai's home map now. All right, next game. Game number 2. And I expect action right away. Mihai picked Goths. Goths do get loom instantly, so if anyone's going to be sending a villager out, it may end up being him, but when you find your elephant, you need to take it early, and you never scout the front of your base with sheep on this map. Never do it, ever, because everyone's going forward to lane. Mihai, you get loom instantly. He has queued up loom behind this villager, and he's going to get his sheep back. Fortunately for him, his elephant is actually on the back. That's probably what he was looking for. And Capwatch didn't find his elephant, and Mihai could take it. Who's gonna shoot first? Oh, that's what happens when you're 16 years younger. You get to click slightly faster. And that elephant could be Mihai's. Should be Mihai's at this point. If the eagle was around, maybe Capwatch could block it here. Mihai? Oh, God. Oh, no. He forgot to click back to the TC. Oh, no. 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 That's so important. That's so important. That elephant, it could have gone all the way back, but he forgot to click it an extra time. It stuttered for some particular reason, and now Capwatch is going to get his food. And Capwatch is just going to hang out here, and he's going to try and Vil War this, and this is going to be very messy. Now, guys, I played Capwatch in a Sokotra tournament. I was on an incredible run, beat some nice names, beat Margugu 2-0. Felt great about myself. I was like, man, maybe this is where I was born to play. Then Capwatch just spanked me 3-0. It was bad. And I still remember that. And I lost all Sokotra confidence since that series. So my point here is Capwatch is really good on Sokotra. So Mihai taking that edge there, taking a slight lead would have been really valuable. I mean, there's only one elephant for each player on the map. So getting an extra 400 food while taking away 400 food from your opponent, that can be enough to end games. So right now, Capwatch still has his eagle around, scouting the map. It's a weak eagle, and it's also a weak scout for Mihai. He'll see the elephant, but he can't do anything about this now. It's interesting that Mihai saved it, but I guess he knew that Capwatch wasn't going to be doing too much. Goths, the hunt does last longer, so the food from that elephant, the food from the ostrich is also nice. A Capwatch actually choosing to mill his ostrich. Sometimes the at times players will bring additional villagers forward to kill these things. So I think that's why Mihai was quick to push his in underneath the TC. And that's why Capwatch decided to just mill this fast. But in the end, Capwatch's lumber camp's going to be delayed. Not that big a deal, especially with the Incas, because you don't need as many houses at this stage, which means you can... It's much easier to just take the straggler trees and then go for the lumber camp. Villager could have hit this scout. Would have killed the scout. But scout gets away. And that's good for Mihai, because he can see the approach his opponent is taken. He can see where the berries are located. The gold's on the back, too. That's really nice for Capwatch here. Capwatch loves to play with walls, and if he walls towards his TC, and then towards his TC, he is double gold pile. And Incas can play into things like spearmen or skirmishers, but at least with all-in aggressive strategies, typically it's a lot of gold, right? Lots of eagle warriors and lots of monks. Goths have cheap infantry. And I'm sure Mihai's going to want some form of momentum here. So I could see a barracks being the play for him. But he's not really a forward type of guy. He's more of a archer opening type of player. Archer opening and adapt is how he tends to play. Which is what a lot of the meta is these days. But also it's what a lot of the new age, the next gen of players seem to be opting for these days. And there goes Capwatch up to the next stage. No barracks yet, so we won't see any militia from him. Saved the llama for last, guys. Respect your llama like Capwatch respected his. And Capwatch is going to wall. So you pick the Goths high up on your draft because of instant loom and the potential for the lane. Now, you pick it for a bit more these days because of the Laster Longing Hunt. Why can't I say that right? Longer lasting. I always screw it up now. I gotta rewire my brain. But as the scout goes down, I hope that villager doesn't accidentally eat some of the scout. That'd be gross. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like Goths feel a bit stronger than they would have like a year ago. I forget when the patch was. But considering how Dark Age played out, it's all Incas for me. At least from here. Extra pop space on the houses feels really smooth. The options that you have available feels nice. But does Capwatch know militia are coming? Doesn't seem like he sees the barracks. I think Mihai is hiding this intentionally, which is actually really smart. Because usually players will build it out in front of their berries to protect it. Capwatch is like, what? No barracks yet? I don't need to wall right away. Okay. Scouting around. Now, what's going to make him panic is when he sees the gold. He might think it's just archers. Oh, he doesn't even see that villagers are on gold. Militia have no scout to block for them. They see the range. I feel like you would have seen the man-at-arms by now in normal circumstances. Mihai's being super sneaky. And he's here. He is here, and that should be a dead vill. You attack with 2, you block with 1. Yep, he already has the blocking one ready. He knows what he's doing. If you have a scout, the villager died it right away because of the blocking potential. And very well played from Mihai. Impressive stuff. Did I miss Mihai losing a villager, by the way? It says Eco KD's 1-1. I'm trying to remember. What happened? Mihai lost a vill? He lost a scout. I must have... Huh? Can someone remind me? To the board? Did he? Oh, that elephant. Oh, yeah. Wait. Yeah, okay. The whole thing we talked about. Yeah. Sorry. We'll edit that out. Won't we, Hardy? Yeah, we'll edit that out. Okay. Yeah, that really important moment in the game. I just remembered he didn't get the elephant. I forgot the villager died. How soon we forget, you villager. Anyways, nice bit of momentum here for Mihai. Capoch. Still trying to get these walls down, but he does have enough army to maybe defend this. This is where I would prefer Mihai's skill set for the micro, though. Mihai's really good in these moments. And it's not just that. Look at Capwatch's idle TC time. You see how he's not able to deal with this pressure as much? Part of that is the fact that he's not on his berries right now. Whereas here we've got 7 villagers on berries. Whoa. Now, Mihai did get housed, which kind of sets him back. But Town Watch is never a bad tech to be getting here. And the fletching timing is going to be faster here for Mihai. I think Capoch could have some real problems. Mihai needs this win. If he gets 3-0'd in this series, suddenly it's possible for players who are currently sitting in 4th, 5th, or 6th to maybe catch up to him. So, you really don't want that to happen. I felt like this was going to be a 2-1 for Capoch. That was my feeling on the series. And let's see if Mihai can take another opportunity and get some picks. Yep, he's going to get a pick all right. And Capoch really just wants his walls. This is what I mean, right? Like, Mihai didn't take much initiative at all in the previous game. In early Castle, he was so passive. Remember, he missed some upgrades, but he is ready to go here. And this does not seem all that smooth for Capwatch at the moment, who does have more ranged units and does have fletching now. So I think Mihai's going to have to back away. Man-at-Arms will get thrown into the mix against the Eagles, though, so that's a good find. And things like this is so relatable. This random archer gets picked off. Man-at-Arms still getting some value, which shouldn't. Oh, Capwatch is really, really falling apart here. I think he's going to lose all of his archers here in a second. Just so many range units coming forward from Mihai. Got another opportunity. Sees an archer. Capwatch is probably annoyed with the pathing. I think he set the rally point here, and it's ejecting them the other way. Check res collected this game. It is higher for Mihai with food. Capwatch loves the market, though. So Capwatch, similar to Doubt, who will be playing in Plat in a week or two. Excited to see Doubt play on these maps, but probably sense he's fallen behind and drop a market soon. So we are playing up towards ranged units with a civilization that doesn't really have bonuses for their ranged units in the Goths. But anytime you poke your head out here as Capwatch, you will get found. And truth is, Mihai's got the perfect mix. He's got enough archers to force away any eagles that Capwatch might have on the field. Is adding more man-at-arms bad here? Yes, I think so. This map is really focused on faster castle age. And as Mihai has shown, he basically counters you with the skirms and keeps this army alive and then adds archers behind. Feudal Age Eagles are not that big of a threat against a good archer player. In Castle Age, it's a different story. But you're still looking at 3 Pierce Armor after the armor upgrade versus a unit that's doing 5 damage. Dang. Capwatch being completely smothered here. And we actually have villagers on stone for Mihai. He's saving up towards Huskarls, which I wouldn't have thought he actually really needed to do here. But obviously he's thinking that Capwatch will go for Eagles, so it does make sense. Of course, Incas have the Slinger, but... And the Slinger can be countered by the ranged units, and there's the market being used by Mihai. This is the Mihai that I was expecting to see in this series. And I'm happy for him that he's been able to clearly get over. At least it doesn't look like he still has a mental hurdle or mental issue with how he performed in game 1. Because you could easily get frustrated with those moments. Yeah. All right. So villagers leaving the stone now. Capwatch with a bit more confidence. But again, it's just like these skirms. You try and get close to the skirms, the archers are there. You try and get close to the archers, the skirms are there. It just Mihai's micro is so good. Capwatch is going to need numbers more than anything. He's going to need to force it here. He hasn't clicked up yet. He's really trying to force the issue. He's finding a decent enough engagement now. Villagers are exposed, but there's not enough to really kill the villagers here. Mihai has to take out these skirms, which he will do. The eagles are killing villagers. Capwatch hasn't clicked up yet. Villagers are exposed. It's not a good sign. Still feels like the margins are razor thin. Like, it feels like, yeah, just seconds away for Mihai to clear this up. And then he has the better army, at least for a little while. Man, I like what Capwatch is doing here, though. Producing out of the barracks, producing out of the range. He got lots of upgrades, too. He researched 3 upgrades. Armor on the eagles, armor on the skirms and archers. The attack for those units, too. Ultimately, I think it's the correct play to simply just back off the stone. I wasn't even sure the stone really made sense in the first place. Because if you're worried about eagles, you can just tech into longswords. But I have never seen a game where I don't have faith in Mihai going crossbow. So, that's probably a big part of my thinking. And Capwatch is 2 minutes now to stay alive. Now, he should start to think about where he's vulnerable. Here, he seems safe. Here, he's vulnerable. And Mihai will go to the middle of the map to make a siege workshop, and he's ready to push. Now, if you're worried about eagles, I would like to see the longsword upgrade clicked at the very least. Like, you get these upgrades first, obviously. And you see double barracks. I don't know if he has the food income for it. Maybe he needs a few more farms first. But, oh god, he's through! Oh, this is... Oh, Capwatch sold his stone to go up to the next stage, too. Oh boy, he's got to buy 200 stone back to drop a tower. Yep, he was vulnerable there. There wasn't a house there. And Mihai just forcing the issue immediately. Kills another Vill, backs away. Happy to see the tower, though. Still only 9 on food right now for Mihai. Capwatch doesn't have that much food either, though. Capwatch only on 5 eagles. 5 eagles will not be enough. But you could use the eagles to counterattack, or you could use the eagles to take the siege if the crossbows are far away from the siege. But those eagles are not going to win any fights for you right now. Not against this many crossbowmen. Gotta love it. Mihai's like, I could go through there. You need to do something about that. And see the reaction that it forced? He doesn't want to leave his siege. Villagers have been on stone for a bit. Mihai buying more and more stone. Feels like a castle here would just control all of this. Capwatch needs a big shot here. With a big shot, this game gets flipped on its head. And the castle could be denied, and tons of things go wrong for Mihai. He saw the siege. He backs away. Here he goes. Okay. Here's the castle. Doesn't actually protect that much of the additional gold, but it's still an amazing position. Mangonel gets picked off from Capwatch. That was sneaky. But Capwatch sees the castle now. And, well, he got a couple eagles swooping in. No way. No way, right? That would be so sick if he could somehow stop this. Capwatch is just so sneaky. And the castle could be denied. The castle could absolutely be denied. What in the world? How? He's got 2 mangonels. Don't tell me Capwatch makes this happen. Are you kidding? I thought Mihai would have been fine still. The sneaky eagles. Both here and then here. And Mihai's got to be like, are you kidding me? You got to get this castle up. You got to do it now before there's 3 mangonels. You have to try. and you have to take risks with your crossbows to take out the mangonels. It has to be now. It has to happen. Capwatch building buildings in front of this. There goes Mihai. Okay, this is good for Mihai. So he took out one of them. He's now got the other one. He's not able to hit it yet, but he gets it now, but it's an uphill hit, and there's still not enough villagers to build it. No, Mihai. How can you kill this Capwatch? What? Dude. And honestly, remember the position of the castle I said before? Like, building it here. I know it's at the bottom of the hill, but it's a bit further back. Still, though, if this castle goes up, Capwatch is almost out of gold. If this castle goes up, Capwatch is screwed. Another mangonel? Okay, here we go. Now let's see. Is that enough eagles to kill the vills? It's not enough eagles to kill the crossbow. More vills, Mihai. More vills, bro. Send more vills. He's obviously going to go for the vills. Send more vills. Capwatch has another mangonel coming. Send more vills. Oh my god, dude. Just send the barn. Send the freaking barn. Again? No way. No way. No way. Oh my god, these villagers. Finish the castle. Finish the castle. Okay, I think Mihai wins now. Woo! Maybe not, though. Maybe not. Oh, man. I mean, had he lost this game, it would have felt really bad for the guy. But now he's on Huskarl. Everyone can take a deep breath. All of Romania is like... Because I know there's got to be a lot of people watching from Romania. I don't think so, actually. But he is from Romania. I'm sure people be rooting for him. They knew. And now, you know, yeah, you can make slingers to counter the Huskarls. But if you make the slingers to counter the Huskarls, there's still crossbowmen. This castle gives so much coverage of extra stones and golds. Capwatch had fallen behind in Feudal Age. And then in early castle, it looked impossible. And he almost made it work. But I don't know what your win condition is here, except for a forward castle at Mihai's base, which is going to be near impossible. He has no stone access right now. The Huskarls, again, perfect unit. You don't really need many upgrades on them either. And Capwatch is going to have to work his way around this castle while also defending himself. He's doing the right thing here, though, or at least I thought he was. He's going to try and counterattack with the Eagles. I don't know how easy that's going to be as Mihai splits with the crossbowman. Splits again with the crossbowman. Goes back in. Splits again with the crossbowman. Forcing the issue. Doesn't necessarily have to. He's just taking his time ramming down the barracks. Great mango micro from both. But again, Capwatch is in the losing position. He might have more vills. But he does not have a castle in the middle of the map. And there could be more castles as well from Mihai pretty soon. He's going to run in with his husks. And he will kill the mangonel. And can now pressure the town center from Capwatch. Remember, Capwatch has not lost a game yet in TTL group stage. After this series, he will face Winchester. So it felt like this series, and then the final series is where Capwatch would be most vulnerable. But Capwatch had won 10 straight in this group leading up to this point. Is not an easy player to play against. But I think Mihai is going to give him a taste of a loss for the first time. The Huskarl's able to take out the next mango. Yup. And then surely the TC goes down. And this would be as good a time as ever to maybe tap out if you're Capwatch. I don't think this TC survives. He's a fighter, though. He's still gonna... He's like, I still got a mango on the way. He has 10 wins. He could have easily just been like, GG, the second the castle went up. It really shows the mentality of Capwatch. Look at Mihai, though. Repairing the ram. Well, was going to. I love Capwatch's fight. He's so much emotion and so much passion in his play, win or lose. Again, like, he's going to struggle from here, but he's going to keep going. Population's actually close. Like, this is an Arabia game. It's a bit different. You have more space to move around. The reason I think it's so unlikely for him is just because of, again, how close the map is, the fact there's a castle up. He did make some slingers, hoping the slingers would be enough for any Huskarls that might come in. And he does have more siege here. This is actually very calming for Mihai mentally as well, I think. Maybe it's not, though. Maybe he's like, dang, dude. Like, this guy, I still can't kill this guy. How am I supposed to win 2 straight against him when he sees a player fighting like this? But also, I think being in control of the game, dominating a player, being all over him with consistency, I think does wonders for your confidence. Especially after, I think, some of the frustrations he would have had with the lack of upgrades in that first game. Capoch is like, I will never quit. I will never quit. Imagine being a villager in this town center. Mihai's micro has been ridiculous, truthfully. He's got enough stone for another castle if he wants to place one. There we go. Capwatch lands a shot. Capwatch lands more shots. Okay, another shot from Capwatch. And he's like, this is why I fight, bro. This is why I fight. Don't tell me Capwatch can still survive. Capwatch is insane. He's just such a fighter. Oh, this is unbelievable. Yeah, that's a get out of my freaking game castle. Like, I'm sick of you, castle. I don't like the castle spot. This is a castle that you could lose the game with. I think you should be castling here. This is overextending, but I think he still feels as though his position is so good he can't lose. But, I mean, we saw him struggle to get a castle down before. All right, here he goes. Huskarl's running in for the mangoes. It's not going to kill them. Not all of them anyways. But, yeah, never mind. I take it back. It will kill them. And then you've got a castle on your face. And even Capwatch will have to resign once this castle goes out. Right? Even Capwatch. Capwatch is a special breed. He is a special breed of player. He has 10 wins in this group. And he could be more than happy with that. But he says, no, I want more. We have no gold. There's 2 castles from the opponent. But God, we are gonna do this thing. Because we are gonna, I don't know, chop all the wood on the map and sell it for gold. I mean, the score is relatively close. So maybe he thinks that's part of it. Come on, Capwatch, seriously. He's so focused, he just can't think about how far behind he is. And hey, Chi. Wow, what a game. I love Capwatch so much, dude. Like he almost won the game here. He almost won the game from an impossible position. He did not have the numbers and the army type to ever stop that castle, but it was the sneakiness and it was the positioning of the 3 eagles combined with that 1 eagle that popped out of the barracks. Let me look at this again. I just got to highlight this because this is ridiculous. Where was that? It was right before this. Okay, this moment right now, 22 crossbowmen and 1 mangonel against 6 eagles and 1 mangonel. And then you've got 10 villagers building the castle. It's not as if this is just like a 4 villager castle like Doubt or something. He committed 10, which I think is very reasonable. So this sequence was ridiculous from Capoch. So he notices that's weak, which requires him to click and check, then picks it off. Then runs away with that eagle, doesn't take any losses. Then loops in with these eagles. And then suddenly, Mihai's like, this can't be happening. Capoch dodged with the eagles here, originally from the crossbows. And then he brings in the siege. And then obviously we saw this whole sequence. But like, this was just ridiculous. The fact that he was able to get all of that to happen with just a couple micro movements was beautiful play. But once the castle went up, especially being Goths, it was tricky. Mihai gets an important win, responds in the series, did collect way more food and gold in that, and stone, of course, in that game. So he was well in command. And we'll go to Capwatch's home map. And this is the first time we've gone to a Capwatch home map after he's actually lost. In the play all threes, we of course have played them anyways, but he actually feels like he needs to recover now. All right, so game number 3, and it is Khmer for Capoch. He had quite a few options there. Thought he was maybe going to go for the Mayans. Some people thought he'd go for the Berbers, for the cheap Cav. And so Capoch Khmer, probably looking to make it messy. And then here we've got the Malians for Mihai. Now, the last time I saw Capoch play this map, he went for a full wall with Chinese into like scouts. He had like 4 fishing ships, 5 fishing ships. He didn't do a lot on water. So it was just mainly scouts, walls, a castle drop in the middle. And honestly, he almost lost that game. Like, it was basically the castle position that won him the game, but had he been 30 seconds later to that castle, I think the approach from his opponent was actually a bit superior. There was another game as well in that series where Capwatch dropped a castle with like no army. I think the castle should have even been denied. Capwatch ended to get the job done anyways. So the point is, Capwatch really likes risks on forward castles when there's gold in the middle. And the golden stone in the middle is always visible in this map. You get 2 tiles of gold, 2 tiles of stone at your base, and then the rest of the golden stone is visible, and then in the middle. I would expect a dock from both. Mihai's build, though, is a build that's very similar to what we saw Nili and Kazva do in their El Dorado game in this series. Or not this series, before this series. And actually, Capwatch forgot a house. And now Capwatch had to get Loom because of it. So he's actually a villager behind. But Mihai basically is docked. And he's going to add 2 fishing ships, all funded from the cheaper buildings that the Malians have, but also these straggler trees. So this, again, seems to be a build that some gold players have figured out, probably through practice games. I know that gold players have been practicing with some platinum players. I'm not going to say who's been practicing with who, but I spoke to a gold player who said they've been playing plat players who are going to want to stay alive in plat, which I thought was really cool. And, you know, maybe if you're in, like, Group A and you want practice games so you don't get relegated and you want to play against good players, you might talk to someone from Group D or something, right? So there could have been a bit of that and some information sharing because this seems new. But at this point, I'm actually surprised he's chopping wood so much. I think he wants to just squeeze out that 3rd fishing ship. And then he's going to need a house, which he's doing now. And then he's going to end up needing the lumber camp, which I'm sure he'll go for next. Here comes the scout from Mihai. Clear to me that Mihai is going to have more of a water approach. I think his civilization's also better with that. And the Khmer, you think about being able to build farms without having to make a mill. There's no berries on this map, so there's no real early reason to make a mill. I think Capwatch is just going to wall and spam farms behind his walls, which I personally feel as though is suboptimal. I think that it's like really important to protect and play heavy on water, as we've seen in other games, but it's low risk. And Capwatch will happily play below what is optimal if you can play perfectly, and instead chooses to play low risk because it's hard to play optimally all the time. I like that about Capwatch. I think I get stuck trying to play optimal strategies, and then I can't follow through. So maybe I need to... Maybe a lot of players actually could make some tweaks to their gameplay. Sorry, I bumped my mic. Yeah, I could see a really risky fast castle being an option for the Khmer with all this food. Into, like, knights or something. Yeah, there is a hole in that wood line, which Mihai showed us, sorry. And Mihai's on the way up. Headed to gold right now. And we do not see a second dock yet. But I imagine that is going to be coming up. Oh, no. Never mind. He's adding the barracks. Capwatch is on the way up to Feudal Age as well. This is just Capwatch's scouting here. He's found his opponent. But Mihai is going to add... he's definitely going to add at least one fire galley. And what a lot of players will do here, because ships cost wood and gold, and then archers cost wood and gold, is they'll go archer range opening. And he goes stable opening. There's plenty of food to go around still, with all the turkeys underneath the TCs. So, and in Capwatch's case, he actually pushed all of his deer. Mihai didn't push any. So Capwatch has way more food. Mihai looking to wall up. Capwatch has scouted that dock. That should come as no surprise. Capwatch sending villagers to gold, probably so he can make some fire galleys of his own. And we see a staple from him as well. So scout play from both. Walls will need to come up from both. Reminder, there is a hole here. I imagine Capwatch knows about that, but I'm not sure if he got full vision on Mihai's scout going through there like we did. And we do have another dock from Capwatch over here, which is really nice strat. Also is going to lead to Mihai patrolling into that dock, which is quite nice to buy yourself time. And the scouts from Mihai chasing back Capwatch. Capwatch will have a new scout here in a moment. Also the TC fire. And Mihai just walling up. Did make a mill on the deer. I like the approach from Mihai so far. I think it's pretty clean, pretty solid. I'm thinking Capwatch doesn't know there's a hole there. Now, if he would use the pine tree small trees mod like I do, he would see the hole. It makes all the trees pine trees, and there's a lot more consistency. But does Mihai not remember it's there? I mean, you can hop into the house of your Khmer, which is nice. So I could see this actually working out for Capwatch, but... Okay, he notices now. So he tries to save his Vill. He re-walls it. Okay, he loses one Vill. And now he has his own scouts here. So now Mihai has to get away. And that's not going to be too bad for Capwatch in the end. Over here, Capwatch has 2 fire galleys. He did kill the fire galley from Mihai. And Mihai lost track of that because he was focused on the scout micro. Yeah, but then the game looks hideous. Competitive players would rather their game look slightly worse if it means not losing villagers, which could cost them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. In my case, I have not won hundreds or thousands of dollars. That's actually not true. I did win a couple thousand, which I donated to charity in a Battle Royale Age of Empires 2 tournament, if that counts. But I think it's worth it if you're trying to play competitive to have a consistent tree mod. There's a separate mod that doesn't make them all pine trees. It still keeps them themed. Ooh, Capwatch is going to open up the walls. Whoa, that's interesting. You'd think the fires would just go for the fish. Oh, and Mihai's like, Stonewall! Oh, he lost the Stonewall! He lost the Stonewall piece! That's a nice reaction. I think it's worth it for him to lose that villager in order to stop this, if he can stop it. Oh, wow, this is interesting. Mihai's probably bringing his scouts back, though. And Mihai's scouts are here. But Capwatch can run in. What a weird scenario. This is such a weird fight. Capwatch is kind of winning on water. And he also got in on land, so I think advantage Capwatch. And Capwatch, 4-2 KD. It's 1-1 on the eco count. And no quick walling here from Mihai, as he looks to save his villagers, but he doesn't have any spearmen. He does have his own scouts, but Capwatch has the higher HP on the scouts. Chooses not to engage with one of them, though. But good micro from Capwatch. We know Capwatch loves the stable units, and disaster for Mihai. Disaster. Lost one Vill already. And Capwatch is on the way to the next stage. Wow. What a creative move from Capwatch there. That was not something I would have ever expected. I think Mihai could have played like 10 practice games on this map, but I bet you he didn't have any instances where anyone used the ships on the wall like that. Also, there's a forgotten fire galley up here from Mihai that he sent over there a long time ago. And Capwatch is going to have archers next. But he might not be able to break through this time because there are ships coming from Mihai. Now, behind all of that, guys, as that demo is actually a perfect demo, behind all of that, Capwatch has been on 9 fishing ships, and he actually breaks out with the scouts. At home, he's on stone building up towards a castle. And as we look back to the sea, it is oh so awkward for these vills, but woo, demo, bam. And Mihai will stabilize. Mihai will be okay here. But the 9 fishing ships against 3 fishing ships is significant. And if Capwatch plays this like he did against Clouds, I think he's just going to make some army with the faster castle age and just walk to the middle instantly. He does not mess around. There's no easing into it. Like, yeah, I'll take my time, drop the second town center, then we'll go for the castle. That'll be good. No, Capwatch is like, bam, castle age, castle. Which is, I think, the way to play this map. The spearmen from Mihai are here. They are available to kill these scouts. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening. Because they're not moving towards the scouts. Did Mihai drop? He's adding farms. Oh, man, he just reacted in the last moments there. And now Capwatch is actually losing his scouts. Did Capwatch drop? Huh? I think both players just focused on other things. Maybe the water... It would make sense that they were both micring here. Because there were more ships from both of them. Anyways. It got awkward there. Camels are on the way for Mihai, which he'll want because he saw the knights in the middle. But this is where commitment is needed for Capwatch. If he can get that castle up, he can just fall right back to the castle with his knights. And he sees the camels, he sees the spears, knows that the knights will be kind of weak. But he's now going to drop that castle. And I can remember 2 games ever where someone had lost the game after getting that castle up like this in the middle. But, I mean, one of them was against Viper in, like Prime Viper. I think it was Hidden Cup 2. I don't know. Only the real OGs will remember that. No, I think it was Hidden Cup 1, excuse me, because they didn't have hero names. And I think we might have had this in Hidden Cup 2 as well. There's also a game... I don't remember who Dogao was playing against, but I remember a game where Dogao didn't have any of the gold and any of the stone in the middle, and it was just, like, crazy raids on land, which is essentially what you have to do now. You have to win on water, or you have to hit the mainlands of your opponent. But I think, you know, the water approach is something that Capwatch should now prioritize heavily because he already has the middle castled. So I think a War Galley upgrade would make a lot of sense for Capwatch here. Capwatch is adding a lot of Fire Galleys, so he is aware of that. Capwatch's knights aren't able to make it through. The camels are going to be able to pick off some knights there. It's not bad. Also, nice job from Mihai. Still has the Fire Galley there. You know, it's probably not going to kill too much long term, but it's decent. Capwatch had 18 on stone a moment ago. He's going to drop town center number 2. He's almost out of stone at his base, but still happy enough to mine it. And again, fall back directly towards the castle. Guys, I'm going to tell you what Mihai does, and it's going to make this game really fun. Mihai, you have to give up the middle. As much as it sucks, you just do, okay? I think you start thinking about units that don't cost gold. So, like, Elite Skirmisher and Pikemen. And whenever you build this castle, you build it here. You build it as close to Capwatch's main base as possible. Capwatch obviously could have the army to stop it, but... I think that's the only way you win this game now. Capwatch was lucky with the relics. I mean, a relic's really going to make a difference in this game, right? I think whoever has middle control dominates most of the relics anyways. If Mihai has the castle here and Capwatch has fallen back, then he doesn't get these relics. Getting the relics is oftentimes a product of map control. And Capwatch actually deletes the knight there, because he thought Mihai might get the conversion. T90, how would you feel about a pearl fishing tech that gives gold in a type of fish trap? No. I would not be a fan. I would not be a fan. And please don't encourage it to the devs. I mean, you do what you want. But I like the fish how they are. I think it's fine. So what Mihai's going to try here, guys, is he's actually going to try a fast imp to push this back. And it will be a castle close to the middle. And then he's hoping to go to the Imperial Age for Trebs. He won't have a lot of gold for Trebs. But he could sell some things to maybe get the gold for Trebs at that time. It's got a lot of monks. He's going to drop the castle. The Capwatch can't deny that castle, because if he runs in with the knights get converted. Interesting. I honestly, like... I mean, this is way better than my suggestion of just dropping it at Capwatch's base. This is really crazy that he could balance his eco. He now can't mine any gold. He's out of gold. But if you get one Treb and you can protect that Treb, and Capwatch is in Castle Age, it gets pretty crazy. Yeah, infinite gold other than what we have is not needed. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Just a little too gimmicky for me. I don't think... I think we have a lot of techs which spice up the game. It's not a horrible suggestion, though, right? I've heard many a suggestion that has blown me away over the years. So, Fire Galleys from Capoch, which he made in defense earlier. Finally going to loop around and kill what's left of the water control from Mihai. And Mihai needs to save every gold unit because he cannot make many of them. And again, I think it has to be pikes. You have to go for a unit that does not cost gold because you'll be putting all of your gold into trebuchets. So, more barracks could be an option. Pikeman seems to be the choice. Capwatch also on the way to Imp. Capwatch has had access to gold. Let's actually check res collected. Capwatch is ahead. Shocker, but... he will bank up a lot of gold, but his relics are right there. And he will be much later to trebuchets. And it's not like he actually has that much stone to mine. There's no additional stone for him to mine. So he will likely be in a situation where he's buying stone, so he's using all of his gold income that he's built up to buy stone to get the repairs. But Capwatch is way more on food. Like, this farming eco is incredible compared to anything that Mihai has. Plus the 7 fishing ships. You've got to keep these Trebs alive. Mihai is just going to continue to sell stuff. He's got 2 Trebs on the way. Capwatch has gone for pikemen as well. He could afford to make more pikemen, get more upgrades, go for light cav as well. Like, Capwatch has the eco lead. Capwatch, he just needs to hold, and eventually that eco pays off, in theory. But maybe not on this map. Like, maybe, like, what do gold units bring you if you're Khmer here? It's good that Capwatch actually gets help, and the Malians do not, though. Oh my god, is that gate being held open by the Treb or the villagers? Because that's not what Mihai's looking for right now. Close the door! Is the Treb holding that open? Okay. Treb number 2 is out. That needs to be firing immediately, but he's looking on the fights. Mihai, you need to Treb, my friend. There he goes. Capwatch is going to make 2 Trebs as well. I think Capwatch is okay if he loses both castles and takes out Mihai's castle. I think. Because I think he should be able to make more pikes. Monks could play a role here with conversions. 86 eco for Capwatch, 54 for Mihai. Capwatch did all of this. He did the castle. He did everything he did with the momentum he got from that faster castle age and that sneaky little scout rush. Capwatch is repairing. Mihai can't repair. Mihai only has 2 Trebs. Sorry, he has 3 now. Capwatch is about to get to 4. And you can tell Mihai's trying to rush it now because he's really concerned that he's going to lose this game. And I think Capwatch is going to take out Mihai's castle. This whole time he's been able to mine gold. It was a nice idea for Mihai. But Capwatch now has more pikemen than him. Capwatch still has a castle. And Capwatch is at 45 army versus the 18 for Mihai. And just, of course, you can't make any more trebs either. And that's precisely what Capwatch is going to target now. With all of his trebs, they're going to go directly onto Mihai's trebs. And then these knights have just been waiting for an opportunity to find villager kills on the stone. Or to maybe find the trebuchets here. Look at this. Villagers against trebs. Not something you see every day. But the GG's called. And Capwatch wins 2-1 here. Capwatch now 11 wins, 1 loss after 4 rounds. And I'm trying to do the math on this. Well, we should look to the odds. But, and we'll do that in a second. But I think that it is likely, and very likely, that Capwatch will end up in first place in this group. Mihai, not the result he would have wanted. But as I always say in TTL, when you're up against a better player, snagging 1 win is huge. I do think that he will look back at this, not this game, but the series as a whole, and think that he could have won 2-1, though. Because I think game 1 was a nice matchup for him, and I really liked his position, but he made some mistakes to start off the series. So, a unique map here. Capwatch continues to be really good at El Dorado. Like, seriously. It's amazing. Like, I thought initially Mihai was in the next stage faster. Mihai was walled faster, but it's just something about the way Capwatch plays. In this game, he played into the fishing ships, which was awesome, but both games I've seen open with scouts, adapt into a faster castle age with the castle in the middle. It's just like such a simple thing on paper, but he just makes it look so easy. But yeah, we kind of felt like that was Mihai's only chance there. El Dorado can be really snowbally. 3k more gold collected there from Capwatch. And a series he won't complain about. So let's look to the stats, shall we? Let's input that result and tell us what that means for both of these two and what it means for the group. We're looking at Group B. Before the series, Capwatch was 87% favored to get first. I'm sure that's only going to get better now. And Capwatch at 94% favored for first now. So he would have to lose 3-0 versus Winchester in his final round. And then I think Winchester would have to beat Cyclops 3-0. And Winchester beating Cyclops 3-0 is not the craziest thing ever. Winchester also beating Capwatch 3-0 would be a tough task, I think. Anyways, and it's kind of interesting we're looking at this group because the very next series we're going to cast is Yax versus Cyclops. And those two are in survival mode. Yax's only 2 wins actually came against Vinch, which is wild. But I mean, it shows he's got something, in store for us possibly. And then Cyclops is at 3 wins. So both those players will play their 4th round next. Mihai's most likely safe. There is a chance he gets second. There is a chance that he's relegated. But odds are he's probably going to be 3rd or 4th. And as I predicted, this group would be Vinch first, Capwatch second, and then Mihai 3rd. So it's not too far off from what I might have thought or what people might have thought, but great performance from Capwatch.